Hello there, great person, and welcome to Let's Watch ORB, the movements of the Earth. So I can't wait to watch this one. I do think this is the most requested thing on the channel yet. Many people have recommended this to me. Many people wanted my take on it. So here we are. I will give you my take on this anime. I can't wait. I just know it's about something... it has to do with the science of Earth and how it was seen during the more darker ages, let's say it like that. And we will watch it, comment on it, and have some fun with it. So for my background, I am a scientist. I am currently still a scientist. I did my PhD in quantum physics and psychology, the intersection of both. So I did research on how quantum physics understanding works, how we can facilitate it. So I did some quantum physics stuff, I did some psychology stuff, I did both, and I still do that. So that's where I am, I would say, an expert in. And if you want commentary from those perspectives, this reaction might be exactly up your alley. So I will do my best to explain some stuff, to give you some ideas. And I don't know what exactly the anime is about, but judging from what you all told me, this might be really fun. So if you like the way I do this as a scientist today, you can also check reactions to Steins Gate, which is finished. It was awesome. Also Three Body Problem, the Netflix show. That was also really awesome. I talk a lot about science there as well. Also Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is still ongoing. If you see this shortly after release, there is a lot of science in there as well. And I do talk about quantum physics, for example, in more of the episodes. Brilliant show. I think one of my favorite shows on the channel I've seen. And yeah, I also do more psychological interpretation stuff with stuff like Frieren, for example. Or Vinland Saga. I did watch those. So if you want, or Attack on Titan. Yeah, Attack on Titan. I also do a lot of analysis that you might like if you like the analysis part. And I also am a writer. I'm currently releasing a web novel, psychological fantasy, and place in the afterlife. If you want, you can check it out for free on Railroad. It's ongoing. I would love for you to read it if you like these ideas, and if you want to dive more into fantasy from a psychological perspective and horror perspective. So check it out if you are interested in that stuff. And we will just start the show now. I've rambled on enough, and let's have some fun with orbs, the movements of the Earth. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this reaction. And we will now dive into it.
Doch ich frag mich, wer wir sind.
So the first episode's called, I don't know, because I do have the German Netflix thing, so I will just translate it. Heliocentrism, how about that? Heliocentrism obviously means the sun is in the center, which means the center of the solar system, not the universe. Just a very, very careful distinction there. I do have a running gag with a friend of mine who's a professor of astrophysics in Paris. And we both have this running joke of the Earth is the center of the universe. And we tell it, like, we always say that to people and they get annoyed, like, no, it's the sun. And it's not the same thing, because we are talking about the center of the universe, which is not defined really. Like, everywhere is the center of the universe, because there's no special point in the universe that could be defined as an origin. So you can just randomly assign the origin of the universe to any place you want. And it's like people don't really listen to what we say, and they think we say the Earth is in the center of the solar system, which is obviously wrong. But you can say the Earth is the center of the universe. No problem there. So let's just start the episode. So, I mean, I do comments like these, perhaps, so you know what you're in for. Let's go have some fun with this. Also, I pause a lot, because I like to analyze. Just be warned. Oh, are you gonna go with the old thing of paying for purgatory? Oh, good old blood.
なら一体
The
その全てを知れる
okay. I do not know what this is. This might be a torture device, or this might be a medical device. He looks very, very frail, has bruises. I guess this is a torture device. I love the sign of the planet. 15th century, Kingdom of P. What's P? Prussia? I don't know. Man, those times were so shitty. Hygiene, for example, did this, like killed many people. Like the Black Death was caused mainly by very, very bad hygiene. As far as I know. You can correct me, of course, when I'm wrong. Always do that. Nasty times, these. Most people had nothing. He does have a book, though, which is very, very interesting. Why would he have a book? And this got an interesting color here. Books are incredibly valuable. I don't know how many people could read books. Ew, someone took off the fingernails of some dude. Not nice.
ボランスキーさん、
I know there's voice actor, I don't know.
爪が剥がれると何が一番困るか。
No, you jolly fellow.
物が持てなくなること
答えは激痛です。
What an asshole. I mean, that is so interesting. Psychologically, that is indeed true, I would say. I do think trying to avoid pain is one of the things that drives us most. It's one of the primal mechanisms of the brain as well. Like the first mechanisms we developed as living things was avoidance of things that were detrimental to survival and reproduction. For example, there's a snail. It's very ancient. It has about 25,000 neurons only. They did a lot of testing for brain mechanisms on it. It's called aphalusia. You can look that up. I mean, that's Latin name. I don't know what it's called in English. And basically, it's a very small, very primitive organism that has like a small amount of neurons, so very basic reacting circuitry, like circuitry for reactions in its very, very primal brain. And it does have circuits for avoiding light. I don't know why exactly, but it's an avoidance mechanism, and it seems to be send pain information when there's light shown on it and it moves away. Pain is basically a very ancient drive of showing you that there's something extremely wrong, stop this, get out of there. Which makes it even worse that people might use exactly this mechanism, this most primal mechanism almost to torture people and give them traumata and make them afraid. Because fear can also be a sign for a warning sign for oncoming pain that is hardwired as well sometimes. And it's interesting that he... oh god. So the thing is, he said he can't grip anything anymore, which is also bad. Like, if you can't grip anything, like, you lose many aspects of what your body is used for. Like, the hands are used for a lot of things in us, higher cognitively developed mammals, let's say it like that. And we use hands for many, many things to navigate the world. But pain's still worse, of course, because it's more primal. Like you can use your feet, but if there is constant pain, you can't run away from that. So that's very interesting. Also, I know the voice actor. Is that the voice actor from Le Roro? From Tokinada? I don't know. But that's like in very good dialogue. I don't know if they intended it to be this deep. Sometimes I really overinterpret, so now you know what you're in for if you're still watching this. So let's go. Yeah. Being a torturer also, you need to be a psychopath for that.
誤解に背く異端思想とされる研究の資料。
Interesting. I don't know how true this is. That they torture for this, by the way. Oh, fucking God. That's so bad. It's so bad. It's true, but one of the things, I don't think that they use torture to get information often. And I do not think they would... I don't know if torture was used against people. I think it was not because they were blaspheming. I do think most of the time it was a political reason that they let run under the pretense of being against blaspheming, because there was political power. And like the church's political power was basically a danger here. It wasn't that their belief was necessarily in danger, because you can interpret, for example, things in the Bible, which they obviously refer to here in these Christian, like very old Christian, very primal Christian times almost, or Catholic times. You can interpret things in the Bible in completely different ways other than them being real testaments of how the world was created. I would argue it's how human societies were created as a metaphor, but I mean, other people say other things. But that's not their main point as far as I know. The main point is the political power, because the church basically has the political power. I mean, there was an instance where a pope was able to, I think it was Ludwig the 16th, but correct me if I'm wrong, historically versed people, might have been another king. There was a king that was called to the Pope because the Pope was like, yeah, you've got too much power. I have to show the world that I've got more power than you. So he made him go on a pilgrimage towards the Pope and bow down in front of him because the king was too politically powerful. So the church was not only in these times especially, was not only the structure of belief, but it was the structure of power in a sense. And as all structures of power tend to be with time, they corrupt. And if there are no people speaking up against it, they become corrupt, and there is nepotism, and there is all that bad stuff that happens. So they often use blaspheming as a pretense, because it often wasn't real blaspheming. They just said it so they could go after people, as far as I know. So it's very interesting. Because scientists often worked for them. I think Galileo did work for the church in parts. Like, I know there are these many stories about him being put on detention or whatever you say, and that he was not allowed to do research and stuff, but he was still allowed to do research in detention, I think. I do think he had a deal with some of the church people. Like, they never executed him, and he was never in real danger of being executed, as far as I know. And I did read a bachelor's thesis on that, which a very clever student of our university once wrote, and I did co-supervise it. And there are very many things about the Galileo story that are in part not that true, because the church did a lot of research themselves. The problem is they wanted to interpret it to make it fit their political power and not their belief system necessarily. Like these typical zealot characters that you often see in shows, they obviously existed, but the people in power weren't necessarily those. They were just people in power and wanted to keep power. Anyway, that was a long one. And if you have heard other things, obviously put in the comments. I might be wrong. I don't know.
あるぞ。帰んの遅くなっちゃうな。
Yeah, so what are you gonna do? You psychopath. No, you do have 20. What are you talking about? You've got your feet, mate.
ねぐりさん、68枚。
What are you talking about? I mean, fine. That's nasty. I do think it's a very good method of, if you have someone, I mean, there are two God, this is gonna sound so dark. There are two kinds of situations where you want to torture people, I guess. It's one is to get knowledge quickly and want to just extract knowledge, and you have all the time in the world. If you have all the time in the world, this is a very good method because they do grow back as far as I know. So you just put people in pain and pain and pain and pain, and as that's the state they want to be a bit away from. Basically also what the Christian belief is a bit about, as far as I understand, and I'm not that versed in it, but it's basically what you don't want, and suffering, and so that's a very good method to get someone to talk down the line. But if you have to do it quickly, like if you have to, like in movies, it's often like you have to get information and you just torture them and they give you the information quickly. Like, no, that's like not how that works. Why would they give you the true information? They will just lie to you. You will run away and do something stupid. Like there are these situations as well, but this one really nasty. Like, and they had very terrible torture methods in these times. Like Brazen Ball was worse and stuff, but you know, this is pretty bad. Whatever you want. Whatever you want, like the Earth. Kohansky, what the fuck? That is awesome. I like that line because if you depends on what you understand as universe. I as a physicist would say no. I as a psychologist might be like, some people might say that, like the universe as a place, as a physical place, no. But as a societal place, if you do have a romantic view of that, you might say that, and I think it might be true. You know what I mean? So I like that. It's a different mode of thinking. That's very cool. Very nice. Yeah, see, but it's good. I like the teacher. That was the right thing. Yeah, Raphael. Yeah, and that's true. By our current physics standards, that's true because you can. Doesn't matter. Like you can set the zero origin point of the universe everywhere. Because the Big Bang happened everywhere. It's a very big misconception that the Big Bang was like a little dot and that it expanded. It is a way too simplistic way of looking at it. It was more like and like the universe is expanding, meaning that there's space being added everywhere. So, for example, if we take let's take to Berg. Like I will just take the good old Berger vouchers again. You might know them from other reactions. So you have this space here that I'm illustrating here. In a trillion years, it will be this space. Like they will be this far apart suddenly. It's just because their space appeared between them. That's what expansion of the universe means. It doesn't mean that stuff is flying away from each other. It's literally meaning that there's more space created between things. Possibly because we're in the center of a black hole of another universe, which is a hypothesis I've heard and I like it. Can't be proven. Though the equations for black holes in our universe are very similar, which is cool. So there might be something to it. But yeah, so he's correct here. From our nowadays view, he's correct. But saying the sun is in the center of the universe would also be correct. Saying Sagittarius A, I think it's the black hole in the center of the Milky Way, like this thing. Though this is obviously Gargantua, but like it is also true. So this question is senseless, so to speak. There's like you could say everything's the center, or you could also say there's no center. That's also valid. But as you in physics have to start describing things from points, and you have to give a coordinate system, like you have to assign places to things to calculate paths and stuff. You just define your origin or the center of the universe wherever you want, which is more abstract than what he says. Yeah. That is true, yeah. Because the Earth is the lowest sphere in the center of the universe. I don't know what that argument really is, though funnily enough, it is. He is already past the flat Earth stage. The flat Earth stage is a phenomenological state in physics understanding development. I did a lot of research on that, by the way, funnily. Currently doing it. Also on how people understand the solar system, how they develop that. So we know quite a lot about these ideas. And it's funny that what children think is often what people earlier in the world thought. So it's basically you go through the steps of understanding our place in the universe from the scientific perspective. Like you go through the process of going towards that through the more primitive ideas. Like, so everyone has a flat Earth view if you just look outside. If you look outside your window, you see that there's like a disk around you that you can see, like everything you can see. Purely phenomenological, obviously. And then you develop more stuff and you integrate new ideas into the model. I mean, I told you I did research on quantum physics, understanding how it develops, but it's applicable here as well. So you start from, like, you never learn something completely new. You always build onto what you already know, which is the basic principle of learning and instructions nowadays. If you did go to or have read up on it in a sensible environment, or so you would always go around developing your idea of the Earth like this. Like you look outside, perhaps, and then you understand that you can move on the surface, and there, like the mental model you have will expand, and the disk will grow in your head. And one day you see that there are things in the sky that are round, and then teachers might tell you that, yeah, come on. Why is the Earth special? Wouldn't it be more interesting that it's a sphere? And you can also do some experiments that lend a lot of evidence to that. And then you can be like, okay, the Earth's a sphere, we're on it. And first, the people do not do what he does here. So he's very far developed in the Earth model, because normally you do have the progression of there's the Earth as a flat Earth, and then you have a spherical Earth, and you're on top, but everything falls past the Earth, so the gravity doesn't go to the center, but below the Earth, so to speak. And now then you develop that it goes to the center, like they showed just now. So he does have a very refined mental model of the Earth for his own age. I don't know how old he is. If he's like between 10 and 12, that's normal. Completely normal. And then you get told that there are things in the solar system, and you first you draw and you think of many balls that are there, and then you order them, and then there is a point when the sun's moved into the center as the most important thing in the solar system, and it replaces the Earth, and that is the point where they were here historically as well. So there's this parallel again of like how you develop nowadays and how history develops it. So very, very cool. But lowest sphere of the center of the universe is also reminds me of Dante somehow. Don't know. Is he really his son, or is that just a saying? Also, this is very bad education because he's just regurgitating knowledge. Yeah. That is awesome. So is he 16? I don't know. So he's a bit. He's not where you should be at that age nowadays. Back then he was pretty good, but he was just regurgitating knowledge. Like you can't. Like he just learned that from a book. It's basically like Hermione. That's not good. Like you haven't learned a lot then. You haven't understood it. It's just it's declarative knowledge. It's called. It is the knowledge you can just it's what you read, you just say that one-to-one. No idea what it means. It's the first step to understanding though, so you might still get it. Oh, so he's, yeah. Okay, so I got it. He's 12, so he's fine. He's at the perfect point of the mental development. In this age, very nicely done. So he does know a lot here. He's very smart. I like that kid. So let's see what they do. Also, exposition very neatly woven into the episode here. Yeah, what do you want to do? Yeah, mathematics. I don't know. Theology. That's cool. I like that. That's funny, man. I really love how they do that. The contrast to the torture scene. Like, this is basically almost magical girl transformation. All of the light here. Like, the faith in God is the good thing, the pure thing. But there's also the darkness we saw earlier. So we already know this is a facade. I really do like how they do that. I also grapple with these themes in my web novel, so check it out if you like a more critical depiction of beliefs. I don't know if you are up for that. Check it out. But I really do like the contrast here. And saying that theology is the highest thing. I mean, theology basically in these ages was similar to not similar, but it was almost the proto-sociology, I would say. So, I mean. Okay. Yeah, perhaps. Also learns, sounds very, very regurgitating as well. That's so dark, man. That's really fucking dark. He's just saying that the same thing he learned the text from the book about the Earth. He said exactly this because he knows he has to say it. That's really fucked. That is a bit brainwashy, holy shit. I love it. Yeah, see. That's awesome. I like that. Interesting. It is. If you are clever and can do that in these times, like... Okay. How the fuck did you get out? In a monastery? Yes. Interesting. Okay. But can you live happily? That's a nice thing. Okay, I already like this a lot. It might go into the rationality against emotion idea, which is one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite ideas. Because I don't think they're on the same dimension. Like, they're not opposites. They're complements, so to speak. Like, they're just different areas of interest. Like, they don't have a lot to do with each other. Only when they really go against each other, they do. Because he says he wants to live rational, to be comfy, but comfy is an emotion. So his ultimate drive is from an emotion, because comfort is basically minimizing entropy, being lazy. Everyone wants that. It's one of the primal drives of the human being. That's also why procrastination is pretty normal. Like, many people try their best to not do it, and I've given several lectures on that as well, and I will not do it here now because I won't derail this episode that's already been going for 28 minutes to the recording. But procrastination is basically exactly what he's doing. He's trying to wiggle through because he thinks rationality will not get him into that much trouble because he won't have problems with peers that he might hit out of anger or something, or a laugh that might derail him from his goals or whatever, or that might be a hassle. Perhaps he would also say that raising children down the line is too much work. So rationality will give him a comfy life in that regard, but in the end is also again driven by an emotion, comfort, the search for comfort. I really like that. Ooh, I love it. Fibonacci sequence. I do think the squares are Fibonacci numbers. This spiral, by the way, is a pattern you find in nature a lot. You can see it in sunflowers. If you look at the sunflower, the seeds in the middle are in the spiral. It's a spiral that is often found in nature. We don't really know why. It just seems to be a good... like, energy-wise, it's a very good structure. So it is basically 1, 2, and so on and so forth. And you can put them in squares and you get a spiral through that. I really like that here. A friend of mine is really loving this one. Like, he did once do a complete exhibition on this spiral and where it is in nature. That's so funny. It is... Yeah, he's just playing around. This that I don't know if the authors know this, but that spiral does symbolize the beauty in mathematics and nature from a physics perspective. So that's cool that they put it in.
Yeah.
Is he also fucking with him here? I love how he plays that role. It's because his eyes are closed. Man, he reminds me of Ginin Shimaro so much here. Like, his eyes are closed. You don't see what he's doing. Don't see where he's looking. It's like drawing people like this. If you're a good artist, drawing people like this is meaning they hide something as well. That's why he also had his eyes closed. Just very nicely drawn. Very clever drawings. Symbols like this guy. That's a dangerous way to go down, my friend. I don't think he respects you. He just wants the same you want, comfort through being associated with you. Yeah, this is blasphemy. Yeah, blasphemy. I like that. That's so funny, man. I like that they make this a lot. They make this really scary. I like it. Because, let's go back to, I do think he's also friends with him in part because if he knows him, he might get something from what the main character here does have. I don't know what his name is yet. I think they didn't tell me. Perhaps I missed it because I talked too much. But yeah, this scene is scary because, yeah, humans are gods. I mean, they strive towards being like God because God is the ideal human, at least in the belief. So, I mean, but this is blasphemy. You shouldn't say that. He might just be hit as a kid. I don't think anything worse is gonna happen. Yeah. Yeah, he was just scolded. He doesn't know better. But he thinks them. That's the dangerous thing. He will have to contend with what he thinks versus what he says. I like that. Raphael, I'm sorry. I know his name, yeah. Yes, so. Gwiant, why? Oh, a 6th magnitude star. That's awesome, man. That's very hard to see. I think you can see up to 7. You know what? Fuck it. We're just going full physics mode. So if you look at stars with the naked eye, you can see category magnitudes 1 to 7. So basically, historically, how that came to be is people did watch the sky and they saw that some stars are brighter than others, and they roughly categorized them after numbers. So I think 1 is the brightest and 7 the least brightest. You can barely see, and they just try to like rule of thumb them together into numbers. So the numbers they gave historically were like rule of thumb numbers. So a 2 and a 3, like you could distinguish them, and you can actually look them up. Like if you have there's an app for iPhones and I think Androids as well called Stellarium. So it's like a stellar, Stellarium. That's the app, and you can see how the stars are like positioned around you right now at the moment, and you can take that app at night out, and you can see the stars, get their names, and you can see their magnitudes listed there as well. And you can just go outside and look at the magnitudes and compare them with the naked eye. It's a very fun exercise. I do that with my students in astronomy courses in university sometimes. It's really cool to do. And it's a very historical approach to astronomy because you just like, you're like, okay, this one's brighter than this, and you try to make hierarchies from that, and you just assign numbers. And it was very hard to quantify them because then there came a point when we could actually measure the strength of the light density coming from a star. You know, and we could really understand how they really produced the brightness through the fusion, and how it had to do with the distance as well, because a star that's further away might appear of less magnitude than someone that's closer, even though it is not, you know, because like those are the problems. So they tried to quantify these numbers that they did with the rule of thumb, and they had to give it a logarithmic scale. Like and it's one, and I never understood that as a student. I never got why they had the fucking stupid logarithmic scale for magnitudes. Like I never understood why it was there, and it's just a fit. Like they just had the numbers and they measured the real numbers and they tried to map them to the scale 1 to 7, and it didn't work, so they had to use a logarithmic scale to fit that, to make it linear. So magnitude, this is actually very good. Like, so it has to be very dark. And it's very hard to see a magnitude, sixth magnitude star, because it's almost the least brightest you can still barely see. So it's very hard to see. And you have to, like, if you want to see one yourself, when it's not light polluted around your area, like, and if you look up, like, you should try to let your eyes get used to the brighter stars and then work down to less bright stars, and then you might be able to do it. Like, you won't spot them immediately if you look them up.
ではそれをやめろ。
Okay, yeah. Too much stargazing. But he likes it. But he likes astronomy. What are you going to do now? Do you want a comfy life or a life where you find the knowledge you want?
かしこまりました。
Give me that book.
明日私の知人フベルトの
Hubert. Okay, I mean that's a German name. Hubert.
異端者として捕まっていたんですよね。
Ooh. Interesting.
取ってよろしいのですか？
ああ大丈夫。
Why is it fine? He recanted. That's the thing as well. Recanting was more like those were the prisoners they took as power plays. Like Galileo was a power play, and it was a public display in part as well, so the public knew to not go against the church. But Galileo himself might have been in on it. We don't know. There are contrary sources to that. But he lived pretty comfy in his detention, and he basically had everything he needed as far as I know. And again, there are sources that paint this in a very dark light from the church and him like really being at odds. And there are sources who are like, they pretty much really went along and they put on a display a bit to keep the structures in power and to give Galileo funding as well. So I don't really know, and I've looked at the sources at least presented to some research. So I would love for someone who knows more to comment on that in the comments, because perhaps I don't have every information about this one, but it's very interesting. And recanting is basically like, I officially deny what I said. It's rubbish. The church is right. It's basically a political statement. It's not a statement of belief. It's a political statement. See? And that's what they then say, because they can. It's a very interesting system they had in place there. I like his hair. Raphael. I don't remember what Raphael was an angel of. I know it's not the same spelling, but... So what's he reading? It's a catalogue of stars, I think. He fucking hates it. I love it. Yeah.
当たり前だな。
It's so funny. You know, it's so funny and it's so true. I love that they use astronomy as well. I know it's the story, I think, but astronomy is the thing that interests everyone. And there are lots of debates in the physics education community going around what to teach so people are motivated to learn physics. And the one area that everyone loves is astronomy. Boys and girls as well. Like there are differences in boys and girls that have been found over the years. Most of the studies are not that up to date, but the trends still hold true. And astronomy does not have them in main parts. So astronomy is like just interesting for everyone. Like astronomy is this very naturally interesting idea of physics if you take astronomy as part of physics. And we try our best to teach it. And by the way, in Germany, there are many federal states where it's not in the curriculum, even though it's the most interesting and motivating thing we have. So that's just also something. So there seems to be a very natural inclination for the stars we have as humans. Like we like them. I do think in part they symbolize striving for something, aiming at something to do like something meaningful in your life. That's very, very common idea, I think.
天文なんてやってる暇。
There's the moon. And you wouldn't see this many stars near the moon, by the way. But let's go. Like, this is probably, like, you could, like, I will guess. So the moon's obviously reflecting sunlight. But if this is a magnitude 1 star, this might be a magnitude 4 star. You know? You can barely see it. So this is magnitude 4. And this might be magnitude 6. Like, just so we get an idea. And these are far too many stars. You wouldn't see them around the moon like this. Not with a candle lit beside you.
いやいや、空のことは忘れろ。
Yeah.
こんなのど
What does it matter? I thought you wanted rationality. Yeah.
は合理的な美しさがあると思ったが。
Rational beauty in the order of the stars. Also so dangerous. One of the biggest dangers in science is ascribing beauty to numbers because they can freak you up so badly. You want everything to fit orderly, and sometimes that is just not the case. Sometimes things are ugly. For example, if you look at the solar system itself, many people described the orbits as circular orbits around the sun, and it's not true. It's ellipses, and people didn't really know how for some time, not that long. But and the problem was they just wanted circles because they were so beautiful. And nowadays, in more advanced physics ideas like string theory or something, often the argument is made, but it's so beautiful. Doesn't matter. Like, it's so funny that scientists in part are like, we have to be rational, we have to be devoid of emotion, like he was here. And that's often not the case when you are like, yeah, but this was beautiful, because that's emotion as well. You deny that sometimes. And that's what I said. It's not the same layer. Like, something might be rational but still beautiful, you know? It's like,
蓋を開け
also stars don't move that orderly. Yeah, that's the problem.
専門を続けるのは合理的
Yeah, it's not rational, but it's emotional. That's the thing as well. Like, if you assume that the Earth is the center of the universe, you have to, you can even make it funnier, and I like this as well. It's also one of the jokes me and my friends do sometimes. It's like, all planets revolve around the Earth, and all planets revolve around the Sun. Both statements are also equally true. And that's also something we sometimes say, and people are like, no, you're wrong. How can you say that? That's so untrue. The Earth doesn't, like, the Sun doesn't revolve around the Earth. That's just absurd, but it does. It does. If you are like, okay, let's fix the Earth, position of the Earth. So the sun goes around us every day. We see it go up and down. It's the same phenomenological idea I talked about earlier with flat Earth. The idea that the Earth goes around the sun is the same level of idea. But you can do it. You can just be like, yeah, okay, Earth is the center, sun moves around. But then something really fucked up happens, because if you then try to predict, for example, Mars or Venus or Jupiter, which you can see with the naked eye very well in many places, many evenings. So you could do that in these times. Like, they will not revolve around the Earth. That's the point. If you say the sun, like everything revolves around the sun, everything will just go around the sun. But if you say the sun revolves around the Earth, that is true, but everyone else is just doing absurdly stupid shit. And the calculations are horrid. Like, the things go like this, like in patterns you can't really calculate anymore, because it's a stupid frame of reference. Like, you can't put this Earth as the thing that doesn't move and everything else moving, and then the sun moves around the Earth in that description, but everything else is absolutely weird shit. And that's why we don't do it. We're lazy. Physicists are always lazy. We do the easiest thing. So we are always like, yeah, Earth revolves around the sun, because if the sun is still, we can calculate everything with ellipses and circles. Easy game. Otherwise, we are in Hell's Kitchen. So, that's why he can't do it, by the way. That's why he's saying exactly this. It's too complex, because things don't don't rise in the morning and set in the evening. It's not what they do. The sun does, but everything else doesn't. So you can't describe it with easy maths. That's his problem here. And that's what intrigues him. Because if you are like, yeah, but the sun's the center, all of that goes away. It's very easy to calculate in very rough, ways. It is indeed.
背伸びしたって人間は近づけない。
Ooh, I love it though. This almost looks like the Milky Way. You wouldn't have these dense stars, guys, though. You wouldn't see them. You mostly see like the Milky Way as a straight line. I like that he's already conflicted. It's very quick that his ideas were challenged.
そうなんだ。何にせよ上手に生きていない。
Yeah, it's not a smart way to live. Oh, witch burning, I guess. They rarely did that. They really rarely did that.
処刑日だったっけ。
I'm unsure how many witch burnings there actually were. Hurts like fucking hell, though. Someone
奴ら
dying.
は神に逆らったんだ。改心のチャンスだってあったろ。
Yeah. This is the question. Do you recant or do you stand by your ideas? It is, in a way, leading a revolution and a political one, as well, as I said. So it's a very hard decision. Like, will you speak up against the authorities? Like, it doesn't matter if it's because of the belief system they purport or because of their ideologies they purport, because this is basically an ideology here. Or it is a belief system used for political purpose, like one or the other or both. So, yeah, will you speak up and risk your life, but try to make the world a less corrupt place, or won't you? So...
早く燃えろ。
Oh, it's that asshole. I love him. He's so funny, man. I need more of him. He's such an asshole. He's such a psychopath. He's just having fun killing people. He's just a psychopath. I will actually look up how many witch burnings there were. Yeah, so I did look it up without complete, like it was very quick. So it was about 3,000 to 5,000 people that were burned and executed in general by the Inquisition. Across 300 years, I think. So that is how many 300 years? It's like 10 people per year. 10 people per year were burned, which is not as much as you would think. It is too much. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fucking too much. Every single one's too much. But you know, that's like, I just want to put that a bit into perspective. It's artistic license, though I like it because it transports themes. I don't care about reality if the themes are awesome. So, you know, it's just how I look at stuff. So you have to excuse that. Yeah, you know, he just burned. So sad. That would be so dark if he accidentally burned. Oh no, there's Hubert. Hi, Hubert. It's a very German and Polish, I think, or Russian name area. Oh, he looks like shit.
うわ、でかっ。やば。
Yeah, he really looks like a sage.
よろしくお願いします。
What's he gonna say? Can he even speak? Does he have a tongue left?
私は君に利益を
I offer no benefit to you.
しなくていいぞ。
It's so funny. I like that he's like, I don't care for societal rules. Fuck off, little boy. I don't think he saw through him. He just saw through that he's acting because that's how you act in society if you're not stupid. Because otherwise people will be suspicious of you and that's not good. He's really scary. I wouldn't like to walk in front of him, but I'll walk behind him. Really.
大学へ行くんだって。
はい。
He sounds a bit like Eisen. Yeah, he's gonna... Awesome.
星を見るんだろう。アストロラーベを持ち歩く。
Astrolabe, yeah.
か、ただのたしなみで。
I mean, I don't know exactly what you do with it. I know it's to cartograph stars and stuff, so... I don't know how well they worked. I think they worked pretty well. I think someone built one that I know, but I never, you know.
不純だな。
Interesting. I like, okay, so he now saw through the shit. So why do you care that, like, he called you insincere? Is that bad? Is that now, did you not like that? I thought you didn't like emotions. So you talked big and didn't follow through.
は何の研究を？
I like that. It was an honest question.
僕なりにできる範囲。
見せてくれ。
He's just taking it. So.
素晴らしい。
Yeah. You probably did good work. Yeah, he really does have good eyes.
でもそれ走り書きで、うちにもっと正確に。
That's awesome, man.
見たい。これで研究が続けられる。
Is that Eisen's voice actor? I might be, I don't know.
もう研究はやめたのですよね。
No, of course he didn't. Yeah.
研究を捨てるつもりはない。
Oh, I love the church bell. Yeah, he did recant. He probably just... Yeah, like he... That's so funny. And he lies as well. Like Raphael does lie as well. So there's the same in a way. He's just in a more serious situation.
これからもバレないよう騙し続ける。
Yeah, that's Eisen. That's Eisen. If that's not Eisen's voice, actually, I'm gonna eat my bow tie. Don't look that up. I don't want to do it. Because you are a talent.
今から君を脅迫するからだ。
Oh, okay, mate. Okay. Brilliant. Ooh, I love his face. It does, yeah. Ah.
即死刑だ。次はない。
Awesome. Kurutsugi.
妨害したら殺す。
I mean, he would probably just kill him because he would rattle him out, I guess.
とにかく言うことを聞かなきゃ殺す。
That's quite the predicament you have.
いいな。
I mean, now he does have an excuse to do it as well. I like that. Let's see where he goes, this little friend of ours.
安心しろ。あまり理不尽は言わない。
Yeah, he doesn't seem like that. He's a true rational man, I think. Very practical.
どこで観測している？
Because that's the thing. If you don't have morality, I would argue, this is fine. There's research that has to be done so in this child. Like, what's the problem? Like, he has a mind he could use on that research, and you guide him through the research rationally, that's perfectly fine. Morally, that's really fucked, because you take away someone's life and potentially endanger them to, in this anime verse, burning and getting nails ripped out and stuff. So, like, I like that. Like, because he's completely rational, I would argue, and he's doing fucked up shit already.
もっといい観測地がある。
Oh, he knows a better spot. That's awesome. Can you see the Milky Way from there? He's like, damn it, fucking shit, what the shit, I hate this. I wanted to study theology.
なってんだよ火あぶりだろ火あぶり帰ったら
Yeah, he could do that.
もっといい観
Nah. There it is. The thirst for knowledge, mate. Because you're a scientist as well. You need it.
いやいやどう考えても
Man, I know this. I'm gonna be very honest here. I know this might look tropey, this scene. That it's like, oh, but it's just that he needs to do it. I have had that. I have, in my research, I've found new stuff that no one has found before. And that drive is incredible. Like, the thing inside you that awakens when you realize this is new. This is so much I could see that is so new. No one has seen it before. And like it's like your whole world is painted in like this indescribable color of I don't know, it's not even a color, it's like driving you forward, framing your view of everything, of your conversations and stuff, and like you're stuck in half another world, this feeling. So I know it is a tropey feeling often in shows, and I don't know if it came off tropey as you, this scene, but this is, I get it so much. And like, I love the way that the thoughts fade in, because that's like, what it is, like your subconsciousness will start to let them bubble out, because your subconsciousness knows before your consciousness knows all the time. So they slowly bubble up, and you know that you truly do not want what you're doing. And it's like a pendulum. The more you try to push away the thing you love and want, the harder it will smack you in the face on its way back. Always. Basic psychology as well, by the way. That's the Milky Way. Yeah. Yeah, of course he came. So this is the Milky Way. It looks like this. You can also really see, like, this is the center of the Milky Way up here. So, like, so there was a weird glitch. I, for a second, thought the recording was gone. It was already an hour. It wasn't gone. Lucky you. So I'm still here. I hope you check out my web novel. Because that's also about faith. There's a lot of faith versus science stuff. One of the characters is a scientist, basically, and one of the characters is very faithful, and they will have some odds. In a world where the subconsciousness produces monsters and stuff, and so science might produce monsters in that world as well. You might like it. Anyway, so back to this. So the the Milky Way is like, this is the galactic center, this here, and you can see that a bit. I've seen the Milky Way first when I was like 12, because I was growing up in a rural place. I went out with a friend, and we just went out. We did some strolls in the evenings just to get some fresh air, talk a bit. And we looked up, and there the Milky Way was. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. It is so astoundingly beautiful.
ここは高度も高く視界も開けてるし
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Like, if you want to have a good observation spot, you obviously should have a sky that's not cloudy, and you should be high up, because the less air there is between you and the stars, the better you can see them, obviously, because the air can distort stuff. With like, it's also so really, like, if you take a telescope and you observe the sky from the ground, the different pressure zones above you of the air will distort where you are exactly looking. And if you want to, like, if you open a guide and try to pinpoint a star, it might be a bit off because of the air distorting it. That is why, for example, we've got Hubble and James Webb Telescope, even though they don't operate on the same wavelength. Yeah, you know what, we're already recording for more than an hour. Why not talk about that as well? So what is also very funny, if you open up an astronomy book and you see all these beautiful photos of the stars that are not real photos, like, they have been colored in. So what you normally do is you gather the light, or like the photons, like the light packages coming from the stars, and you gather them across a certain time span, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, depending on what you want to record. And you will record the different wavelength areas differently. So you will record those spectra, and you put them over each other, and then you have to color them in. And all the pictures you see are just colored in so they look pretty. That's not how it looks. For example, as well, it's very funny. I do it with my students sometimes in class. Like, that's how I start the unit on space telescopes. If you take a James Webb Telescope image of Jupiter, and one from Hubble, they look completely different, and ask them, what does it look like in reality? And the answers, by the way, as far as like, for simplicity's sake, it's Hubble, because Hubble does take photos, real photos, like not the big telescope on the Earth's ground, but Hubble takes real photos, I think, and so you see the real planet. And James Webb does infrared, so very, very low wavelength, because it can detect some chemical elements better in clouds very far away, like in star clouds. And I will just put them on the screen, perhaps, if I remember, and you can look at them both. So, you know, that's why James Webb pictures are very awesome, but they're not what things look like. They're colored in. Always remember that. I don't know.
速にはもってこいだ
Ooh, that's Orion. It's Orion. This is Orion. The 3 Orion's belt. I think you can see it. This one here. It's Orion. I think this one's missing, but it's funny that they use real life. Oh my god! Yeah.
出たら観測しにくい
The Orion's belt. That was funny. Was that an Easter egg? Like, this is how Orion's belt looks if you zoom in. But Orion's belt really looks like this. Like, it's like very an hourglass shape. And these 3, you always see them. Like, if you see these 3 stars, you can see Orion's belt. You can see Orion's belt with your naked eye extremely easily. Like, it's one of the first things you see, at least on our hemisphere where I am at. Like, it's really easy to spot from here. Like, when I go out in the park, in the city, and I look up, I see Orion's belt. Like, it's pretty easy to spot. And like, if you zoom this in, it's indeed this this shape, the belt. That's so funny, man. I'm so glad I caught that. That's interesting. Yeah, you have to take 2 coordinates.
こんなもんでしょうか。
You have to take 2 coordinates, like you basically take a coordinate into the top direction and into the horizontal direction. And the coordinate systems, there are 2 coordinate systems for astronomy, and some are dependent on where you are and some are not. One is not, and it's not easy. So you better just take an app and like look up. We don't need to calculate anymore nowadays. It's the good thing. Can he read that? RSI is good enough. I mean, he could attack him and press him against the wall, so.
すごい。短時間でこんなに大量に。
Yeah. He's very clever. I like that. He's forced into doing what he loves. I do think it's reasonable.
その記録、一体何に使う？
That's a good question.
一体何なんです？
Yeah, what is it?
君はアリスタルコスを知っている。
Aristarchus of Samos, Greek astronomer. I did have I did work on a project of for the European Union, and I did name, or not me, like the one friend from Paris I talked about earlier. He did. He was the supervisor of that project, like the leader, and he called the project after Aristarchus. It's the Aristarchus project. It's basically we take the solar system, print it out on a very big sheet, and you can walk on it. You can walk the way the planets move and the comets, and you learn about the solar system by movement. And it's like every school can use it. That was our goal, and we spread it pretty far. So nowadays we do hope that we can add to astronomy learning through these enacted ideas. So Aristarchus of Samos was a very, very, like one of the first.
たちをしているか、知っているか。
Interesting.
地球が中心で、すべて
Yeah, I do think he was the first heliocentric person.
ではそれを書いてみろ。
Yeah, draw it. You can't. It's so fucked. I mean, if he's trying, it's gonna be like this. Like, it's funny. Like, I tried drawing it once. Like, it is basically like these weird loops. It's really fucking ugly. It's just disgusting to draw. Like, you need some time. There is some trick to do it, but yeah, it's like this. Like, look at this fucked up thing. Look at it. I love these things. Like, you can, like, these are the things I talked about. It's so fucked up. Like, it's good that you drew this. And it's also not this. It's like shifting. Like, if you do this once, it shifts a bit. So the next loop will not be here again. It will be here. So it's incredibly fucked. Like, you can't do anything with it. You can't predict. Like, it's chaotic almost. Like, it feels like that if you do it. So it's so much more complicated than the just ellipses. And that's why we use the ellipses. That's why we use the sun as the center. Because it's so much easier to draw. It's just so much easier to draw. You could make an argument, like there's obviously the argument the sun is most of the mass, so the mass center of the solar system is near the mass center of the sun. I think it's somewhere in its upper layers or so. There's the it's like averaging all masses in the solar system, and you're like if I take all the masses in the solar system, I want to represent them by one single mass of that is the added weight, so to speak, of all points. Where do I have to put that mass to represent the solar system? And the answer is into the sun, but not at the sun center. So that is the argument why we also do it, because it's just the driving force of the gravitational forces as well. So the argument why we say everything revolves around the sun is just laziness. That's all. It's laziness. Because it's so much easier to calculate. Because this fucked up shit, I've done this. I've calculated this fucked up shit. It takes ages. Like, do you know the functions you have to use? It's so stupid and shitty. It's like to punish students, let them calculate this shit. Like, I hate it. I did it. It's fucking stupid. But it's valid. It is a valid system. Like, this works for a time.
ですが、このくらい1000年以上前に。
Yeah, Ptolemy, yeah.
まあ、常識的に考えても地球。
I believe God would place it at the center. I think he's truthful here as well, because he's truthful as a person. He can finally be truthful about his love for astronomy. But it's so funny that he's basically laughing at people. Like, he's not saying this, so I'm headcanoning this. But he's laughing at the people saying the Earth is flat. And he's like, yeah, obviously it's a sphere. It's the same way that people would laugh at him for saying the Earth is the center of the solar system. You know what I mean? Or the universe. It's so funny. I love it.
この真理は美しいか
I do think it's beauty. I like the shapes. They're beautiful. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry, it does not matter as a scientist. If you're rational, it doesn't matter. Beauty shouldn't matter. Yeah. See? Yeah. Thank you, Raphael.
君は美しいと思う
I love it though. It's exactly the right dialogue. I mean, I basically predicted that, but it's exactly that, because those things are different. Like, yes, it is not rational to think it's beautiful, but if you think it's beautiful, it is bad. Though Raphael has the right idea here. He's got the worst idea, because though his claim might be true that he finds it beautiful or not, it is of no essence, but it can cloud your thoughts, and that's where the confirmation bias of science starts to go in. And I always say it like this, and it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but data is objective, always objective, but the interpretations and readings of every data is not, because people do it automatically not. I can give you a very cool example that I love a lot. If you take correlation coefficients, and I don't know if you know what that is, I will briefly, very, very briefly, and I hope easily sum that up. So if you want to see if things are correlated, so that if one thing is more, then the other thing is more. For example, what might be correlated is height and foot size. For example, so if you're taller, your feet are bigger. Like, that's a correlation. It's not perfect. It's probably like in correlation of 0.9. But you would say they are related to each other very strongly. And in science, you try to correlate things to see if they are having a connection or not. And the question is, when do you say, like, you can calculate it. It's just a number. You just calculate a number, and that's the correlation coefficient. It doesn't matter how. So you get a number for these relations. And the numbers between 1 and -1, or if you take the absolute value, it's between 0 and 1. So 1 is they are definitely linked. Somehow, we don't know how. 0 is they're not linked at all. And every value is between those. So who decides when something is related? When would you agree that it's related? And the answer is, we did just set a value as a community where we're like, yeah, this one, above this one, we say it's probably related. Above this, it's not related, and we just dismiss it. And it's just the consensus of the people. It's nothing objective. So there is an objective number you can ascribe to correlations. This is very easy to do, but the interpretation of that is so hard in some parts. And that's the thing. So I don't know. Beauty might be a thing, but it will probably cloud your judgment. It has clouded many judgments, the beauty argument. It is just fucking complicated, and like, scientists would be too lazy. Like, one of the, I can let you in on the secret, we are really lazy. We try to do the laziest things we can. We approach things, we model things, and as long as we are like, yeah, this works pretty well, we'll just take the easier way, you know? So it's not rationality, it's laziness. I have to burst the bubble here. Yeah, it's not very beautiful though.
まあでも美しくないのは残念で
Yeah.
問題にしてもしょうがない。
いや
No, it's not. I'm with him here. That's so funny. I know that the idea is that because the next step here is sun is in the center, which is, yeah, of the universe. That's stupid of Raphael to see. It's not very open-minded. Like, if someone says something and you're like, okay, tell me. Let's try it out. If it works better, we use yours. That's what science is. And exactly that is happening in these debates. If it would be only rational, it's like, okay, I've got this theory. Okay, I've got this theory. Okay, we see which one works better, and that's the one we take. We don't care who made it up. We don't we don't care about the implications first. It's just we try to model what works better. Everything is. Yeah, it's a pretty cool revelation. Oh, and the first time we saw his eye cleared up, because now, yeah, it's awesome. I like the drawings. That's so awesome, man. That revelation must, like, blow your mind. That is patently absurd. Let me get his next sentence, because this might be wrong. He might miss. Okay, didn't specify it. So this is ambiguous. I will give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, he's right. These seasons are not because... So I don't know if that's what he's implying. Like, let's say he's not, but I will just address this. Many people think that this, like, in summer, the Earth is closer to the sun than in winter. It's not. It's not. The seasons come from the axis tilt. So because the Earth's axis is tilted, like, you are longer in the day than in the night on some parts. So that's why there are seasons. It's not because of the distance to the sun. I know it's not what he said. I just wanted to make clear that that's not what you understood here. Awesome. No. They move in sequence. I assume it means different orbits because they're not in a line. I do think there's never... I think it's possible. I don't think there is a time when all planets are aligned. Never. I think 3 or so can be aligned in like 1,000 years or something. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's true. It's awesome for an episode title as well. Love it, man. It's so cool. That is so cool. Though again, it's just the easier way to describe it. The church's way was also pretty valid. The only thing that's false as a statement is that the Earth is the center of the solar system. That is a false statement, but the statement the sun revolves around the Earth is true, and the statement the Earth is the center of the universe is true, but the sun is the center of the universe is equally true, and the Earth revolves around the sun is also equally true. It's just so much more stupid to calculate that we don't do it. So the only thing that is not true is this image of the Earth being in the center and everything being in circles around it. That's wrong. But what he just drew is correct. That is a correct worldview. It's just a fucking stupid and disgustingly assholish worldview to calculate. Like, no one would do that. Like, you would be insane to try. And they did, so... Okay. I guess that was the reaction. That's cool. Okay. So I hope some of you are still here. Hope you enjoyed my very, very quick reaction to this anime. I know I didn't go into a lot of detail. No, I'm sorry. That's how we do it. I mean, this one, I do think it's one of my longest anime reaction recordings I've done, next to Attack on Titan 420, I think, and Evangelion 16, which was about a quantum foam angel, and I just went haywire with quantum physics. You can watch that on the channel. I do hope you enjoyed this a bit. If you like this style of commentary, check out my other reactions. I do everything like this. And I really like talking about this. It's been a long one. It's a bit exhausting because of that, so I have to get some energy now. I wanted to watch 2 episodes, but I no, can't do that. I'm sorry. So I will do these once a week. You will get one once a week because, if all of the episodes are this long, I just can't record 2 and do my 4 episodes a week. So I hope you understand that. But I do hope you enjoy the reaction. If you do, consider liking and subscribing. Also, if you like these ideas of belief and science and how they interact and might fight against each other, you should check out my web novel. It's ongoing currently. I think now that you see that probably like 10, 11 chapters are out, so the groundwork is laid. Just read those chapters. If you don't like it, drop it. But if you give it the chance, I think you might really like it. So I do appreciate all the recommendations for this. Now I know why you recommended it to me, because you got me talking with this. Oh God. So I do hope you enjoyed it. So everyone who recommended this, thank you. I hope you enjoyed what I did with it. I hope that was what you had in mind. I had a lot of fun doing this one. It's so fun. I love these topics. It's my job to talk about them basically in university, in my lectures, but I like doing it on the internet as well. I hope you got some value from them. And as always, if you find things that I said that are like, especially the historical stuff, like the physics stuff, I was not wrong about. I do think, because I know that, but the church history stuff and with the executions and stuff, if you have corrections to that, just post them in the comments. Because I'm not an expert in that. Just because I'm a scientist doesn't mean I know everything. So if there's stuff in areas where I have not, do not have this expert knowledge, just correct me in the comments. That's fine. I invite you to do that, because I also still learn stuff. So anyway, so take care of yourself, and I will see you around for the next one next week. Smash the like. We're almost at 20k subs, so perhaps we get there. Yeah, see you around. Take care of yourself. Bye.